Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, City of Las Vegas Communications Director David Riggleman. Coming up on this show, a future development where anything is possible. We'll discuss a master plan community for La Madre Foothills in Ward 4. Joining us now with more on this very exciting project to come is, of course, the Ward 4 Councilwoman, Frances Allen-Palenske. Welcome back to the program. Happy New Year. How are you?
It's always a pleasure.
This is the first show for you in 2024. Here we are again. So great topic. What we're going to talk about today is going to be a focal point in Ward 4 and the whole valley for that matter. So first, before we get to that, you know, if you don't know exactly where Ward 4 is located, we're going to show you. She knows it like the back of her hand, but it's basically in the west area of our valley, appropriately enough with the big 4 on it there. If you live in that area or work in that area there, it's basically west of the US 95. Then you are in Ward 4. And if you are a resident out there, you are represented on the City Council by none other than Frances Allen-Palenske, who is our guest, along with our other guests here today. So, Councilwoman, we should just get right into this and talk about this. It's no secret that Ward 4 is growing. A master plan community in La Madre Foothills is part of that growth. Today, we have two very special guests to explain this future project. Please welcome first Chris Armstrong with the Olympia Group to the show. He represents the company working to make the master plan community a reality. And our second guest is also working very hard on this project. It's our city planner, Marco Vallada, who is our planning project manager and also our chief sustainability officer for the city of Las Vegas. He's also been putting in a lot of hours on this project as well. So, Chris, Marco, thank you so much for joining the program. And Councilwoman, we'll start with you. You are excited about this project. Why so?
Well, we're building the far northwest part of the valley. It's brand new, and I'm going to put Chris on the spot a little bit here and ask him to explain to our viewers how this land went from desert to privately held land.
Yep, no, for sure, I can explain that. Pleasure to be here, by the way. Thank you so much, and appreciate the opportunity. So this parcel was actually nominated. We nominated the parcel a number of years ago, work with the city, and then it goes through a public auction process through the BLM. We were the winning bidder and actually the only bidder on the project just a few weeks ago. And so it's now, there's a process to actually take down the property fully, and that'll happen in April sometime. And we'll be owners of the property at that time.
How many acres are we talking about?
So around 500,
wow,
plus or minus.
Big.
So it's a large parcel.
And then, Chris, help orient us a little bit. Where is this exactly?
Yep, obviously in the northwest part of town. Tropical is our southern boundary, and essentially we're south of Sky Canyon, south and west of Sky Canyon, and west of Providence. That sort of helps to orient where it's located. Very
cool. And this is going to be the community of the future, right, Councilwoman?
We're working on it. It's uniquely located adjacent to Red Rock National Conservation Area. Right. So we hope to have, or expect to have, a lot of trail connectivity. If you're an outdoor enthusiast, if REI is your favorite place to shop, I would say...
a lot of REI stuff, in fact.
Yeah, I would say, and you're looking where to move, I would say, hey, this far northwest area is going to give you unique access.
Marco, help set us up a little bit. How is the city helping in all this? What are we doing as far as with all the zoning and all the other requirements that go along with the planning and development process?
Yeah, so a part of helping facilitate these types of developments is through our 2050 master plan, and that has helped the council decide the future for future development.
Kind of a roadmap, if you will, yeah.
It is a roadmap, and it takes the vision that the councilwoman helps put together and charts a course out for the next 30 years. The council adopted it in 2021, but we've been doing these special area plans of various parts of the city. We did one with East Las Vegas, and now we're doing one for La Madre Foothills and for Kyle Canyon. And each of these special area plans takes the neighborhoods that comprise these parts of the city and helps get development built. It helps facilitate all the infrastructure, all the amenities that go into it.
Yeah, that's critical because all of that's got to come together at the right time to make it all work. I know, Councilwoman, we talked about on this program, you had feedback from the public on this project. What did you hear? What were some of the things that you heard?
If you recall, in at least 2 of the previous access, we put out that little QR code and welcomed the feedback of the local neighbors and those in the adjacent area. We had a real good turnout of responses.
Good.
And we heard primarily that trail connectivity is the most important. They want to see dark. When they say dark skies, they really mean at nighttime. They don't want it to glow out there. So for us as a city to develop the area with the idea in the evening, you'll still be able to see the stars in the evening.
Yeah. Because otherwise, most of the places in the city, it's just too bright, right?
It is too bright.
That'll be unique. That'll be very nice. Chris, back to you. Olympia Group, tell us a little bit about the company. Gary Goet is obviously, a name that many of us are familiar with here in the city. Talk about Olympia a little bit.
Would love to. So the first community that we developed was essentially Southern Highlands. So it's in the southernmost. If you look at the geography of where we are now and where we started off.
You're just bookending here.
Bookending the valley. So Southern Highlands, we developed Southern Highlands, focused in on the golf course to start off with, and created a master plan of around 2,700 acres. And there's about 9,000 people or 9,000 homes there, and 25 to 30,000 people who live there. And one of the things I think that's really important for Olympia is we're developers, but we'd really like to think that we're creating communities, right? So that's really important for us. And the things that the Councilwoman talks about on the trail connectivity, the parks, the building blocks, what are important for the building of a master plan community, the residential, the commercial, the parks, that connectivity, and just all in partnership with the municipality. So, with the city of Las Vegas, and we've been working together for quite a while. Appreciate working with Marco on, the planning efforts that we've done, and we're to date, and we've got, a lot of work in front of us from, you talk about the infrastructure development. That's
right.
a massive.
It's massive,
Right.
So as Marco well knows,
There's nothing out there right now.
The land is uphill too. There's a slope.
It's uphill. There's no water. There's no infrastructure. So that's what we do. We develop master plan communities and all of that support infrastructure that goes in there. But like I said, our key focus is really on developing a community where people want to live and and recreate and raise their families, right? So
it's got to be exciting. You've got a blank slate, Councilwoman, Marco, Chris, that you get to paint on. That's got to be fun versus, we've got to shoehorn this project in between these other projects and kind of make it fit with everything else. But this is a whole different thing. So
canvas.
Yep.
And there's a lot of folks with a lot of strong ideas. I haven't even mentioned this to either of you, but I met with the folks at Parks and Rec, and they would like to see what's referred to as 4 90-yard baseball fields, because in our parks portfolio, there is nowhere in the city that has full-size adult baseball fields where the mound actually moves so that it can facilitate the young kids and it can facilitate the adults. So technology has rapidly improved in the Parks and Rec world, and they say this is missing in our portfolio.
We don't have anything like that in the city where you can have a baseball field that adjusts to the size of the players.
Correct.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So the Parks and Rec want that. I love the idea of having an ice rink out there where we don't have any ice in the Northwest. The folks at the Golden Knights, we've had initial conversations there. They came to one of our initial meetings to maybe perhaps have one of those practice rinks put out there. There's a lot of possibilities, and we're just beginning the planning stages. So great to have feedback from everybody.
Now, I'm hearing too, Councilwoman, that you are interested in maybe an amphitheater possibly out there to rival Red Rocks in Colorado. We're shooting high here. I'm getting the impression.
Councilwoman, dream big. So I don't know that anybody will tell me that again.
What do you think about this one, Chris?
I don't know that anybody will say that to me again in the future, but it would be wonderful. And like Chris mentioned early on, there is a process to release land from the federal government. Most of Nevada is owned by the federal government, managed by the BLM.
We'll talk a little bit about that,
Yeah. So there is a particular area that would accommodate a beautiful amphitheater similar to Red Rocks, or even on a smaller scale would be Tuacahn, something that we don't have in Southern Nevada.
Right.
So
it's a great experience if you've been to either of those places.
Correct.
So.
And there's a beautiful view of the Strip from up there. So it would be magical. I'm doing my very best to to engage anyone who will listen that this will be a great opportunity, and the city is going to go forward and try to get that land from the federal government. So,
Chris and Marco, let's talk a little bit about that. The process to go through to get the land, how it's released. And Marco, it's a little different for government. We have SNPLMA, the Southern Nevada Public Lands Management Act. That property generally goes for some recreational purpose overall, but the land also can be sold to the private sector. So, Marco, I want to start with you. What's the difference between government getting federal land, private sector, and what's the process in allowing that to happen?
Yeah, SNPLMA, or the Southern Nevada Public Lands Management Act, is really unique for our region, and we're mostly on the back end of it. Whereas with Chris and the Olympia companies, they've purchased the land through an auction. The proceeds from that land sale itself goes into a pot that gets distributed for a number of different conservation and recreational purposes that the cities and the county get to take advantage of. So we use the SNPLMA proceeds for parks, trails,
to build our own parks then.
for our
or
own
amphitheater,
parks, or
an amphitheater,
or other things that serve a public purpose.
Chris, flip side, I was surprised that you said that you, Olympia, the company, was the only one to bid on the property out there, because there's so many projects that you're going to build here that have been successful. Summerlin, your own projects, Southern Highlands. It seems like other companies would want to move in and try to take advantage of that availability too.
Yeah, no, so I think we were anticipating as well that, we weren't going to be the only people at the auction table, but, we've, as I said, we nominated this a number of years ago and have spent a lot of time researching the property and understanding the property, and there's a lot of, we talked about infrastructure requirements. There's a tremendous amount of infrastructure requirements. There's, the property as it exists today. There's a number of encumbrances through drainage easements. There's drainage facilities.
A little more complicated
so it's very complicated. So I think, I think that our team and our company specializes in developing master plan communities with some of these complex issues. We've got, a tremendous amount of experience developing those types of projects. So I think it sort of fell right within our wheelhouse, and that there was, we've talked to other folks who we thought were going to be there, and they just said, it's complicated, and we think that maybe you guys can take a run at it. So we're excited about it. There's a lot of challenges. We look forward to working with the councilwoman on this, and we've done I've said Southern Highlands. We developed Southern Highlands. We also have developed Sky Canyon, right? So that's
that also projects. Very successful community right in your neck of the woods as well. Yeah.
So and we've developed. We've worked. So we look forward to working with the city in Southern Highlands, for example. We developed a regional park that was part of our development agreement, but that was on it's on BLM land, so it was the same sort of thing. There's an RP&P lease, recreation and public purpose lease on that. So I think there's a lot of opportunities, for what's in front of us to develop, something that's super exciting, right? And so we're in the early stages and look forward to working with the city and developing a really special and unique place.
Chris, we know what the councilwoman would like to see out there. You personally, you've done a lot of these projects. What's a component that you would like to see maybe that would make this especially unique? Yeah,
I think, being right next to Red Rock in the conservation area, I think that creates just a really tremendous opportunity, right? I think, I'm an outdoors guy. I like to ride mountain bikes, and so for me personally, seeing something like that where there's an opportunity to develop, trails that connect right from our project into Red Rock is really exciting. And then, something I think that's really important. I talked about creating a sense of community, and things that we've done at Southern Highlands and also at Sky Canyon are, after the developers come through and develop the project out, and you've got people living there. As we like, we've got a management company that hosts a number of community events, right?
That's
so
great.
We do a Memorial Day event, down in Southern Highlands. We've got a similar one up in Sky Canyon. We do Chalktoberfest up at Sky Canyon, which brings in a lot of people for, chalk designs within, the community. We have stargazing events, right? A number of community-oriented events that, I think really make people feel like they're at home, right? So that's a key principle for us, for sure.
Well, I know Marco's an outdoor guy himself, and his family as well. And Marco, from a sustainability standpoint, I know you're excited about this project because part of that 2050 master plan we are trying to build communities of the future.
That's right. And, Council resolved as a part of adopting a Parks and Rec portion of the master plan back in June of 2023. We have a number of great natural features that are immediately adjacent to the city itself. The La Madre Foothills themselves are right in our back door. And the topography and the buttes, the slopes, the arroyos that come off of the hills themselves, they all make for good places to mountain bike, to walk, to hike, to just to get outdoors. And really that's one of the things that we're trying to do is work with the BLM and set up those opportunities for both passive and active recreation, having facilities for baseball, for softball, for playgrounds for kids to go, for sport leagues to play at, all those things throughout the entire area itself. And the adjacent ones, in Centennial Hills and in Kyle Canyon, we want to make sure that people have that access and have those amenities nearby, because I think that's what really is the draw for people that live out there.
Yeah, it has the potential to be.
I'm ready to move.
A grand slam, yeah. So yeah, it sounds really good for sure. So, Chris, when are we going to start? When do we think we'll start seeing people, actually living out there?
Yep. So as I said, we take the property down and own it in Sardi in around April time, right? We've already had some early conversations with the city on just planning of the land uses. That's really important for us. There's definitely, I think we're all aware, just the cost of housing these days,
right,
and the lack of housing that's affordable for people. Like my son's graduated from college, and we talk about it, and it's difficult to understand how people are going to get into that market. So bringing on new housing, I think, is very important, right? And we're working now with our developer partners to kind of really get a good understanding of what the demand is from the public builders, to understand what sort of product to bring to market, and we'll work closely with them so we don't. We create product segmentation, so we don't bring all of the same product to the market. So
that's key. Yeah, it's where you have a little bit of variety, as something for everybody. It makes it more attractive. Yeah, exactly.
Right. So a little bit of everything, so that we hit every segment of the market. So getting towards timing, I think we've got the entitlements that we go through with the city. That process is probably around a 6-month process. We've already kicked off all of our engineering design studies, and we'll process all of those through the city. So we're probably 12 to 18 months going through that process, and then following that we'll start the infrastructure work. Like I said, there's really not a lot of infrastructure out there. It's just raw desert. So that process will take about a year or so. So we're probably 2.5 to 3 years out before we start seeing sticks in the air and houses being built.
Wow.
But utilities go in first. Subsequent to that, as the streets start to go in, and then the creation of parcels that we'll sell off to the builders, right? And then we talk about an important component for us is the parks and the connectivity, and generally like we did in Sky Canyon, we built that park as the first phase was going in. We understood the importance of building the amenity early on, and built that park right at the beginning. So when somebody was going into purchase a new home in Sky Canyon, they could look over and they could say, hey, the park is not done now, but we can see that it's under construction.
It's going to be done,
Usually those amenities, typically come down the road, but we understand the importance of getting those out
up to the front
early, and making it a desirable place to be right from the beginning.
Council, let's talk about this, to touch on this and have Marco can obviously address a little bit. We've heard plenty about cost of water went up this past year, building going on, but the homes that are coming in out there are going to have different requirements from those that were built, 25 years ago in Las Vegas for sure. That's part of the plan as well to be sustainable.
And we all have to essentially, tip our hats to the Southern Nevada Water Authority. They have done a great job for the last 25 years steering us into the best, most conservative conservation in all of America. So we are able to build those homes almost at a zero impact. Because all that water is recycled.
Right, exactly. Talk a little bit about that, Marco. That's a really key.
Is really our
component. Yeah, exactly. Because again, for those that aren't aware, there seems to be, well, you're saying you're running out of water, but you're building new homes. But it's a lot more complicated than that.
It seems a little counterintuitive, but we have been doing a tremendous job with respect to conservation, and really the leadership at Southern Nevada Water Authority has driven it. We've amended our codes to make sure that we're water efficient. There's no more spray irrigation. There's no more non-functional turf that's allowed. We have limits on pool sizes, limits on evaporative cooling for commercial buildings. When you put all those together, we've been able to reduce our overall consumptive use of water out of Lake Mead down to about 85 gallons per person per day.
It's incredible.
And that's all while growing.
All while growing. Adding another million people into Southern Nevada over the last 20 years. Yeah.
Really important to reiterate that, because to your point, for some who don't understand kind of the nuance to this, it seems counterintuitive. It's like, well, you keep saying we have a water shortage, but then why do we keep building? Well, here's the reason we can do that, to your point, Marco. Yep. So good stuff. And kudos to everyone there in Southern Nevada who's made this happen. Years ago, when I first came to town, we were considered kind of a waster, a very wasteful community, and we have really flipped the script to where we're the leaders now. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly. Chris, we'll start with you. Anything you'd like to add that we haven't touched on that you'd like to mention?
No, we just appreciate the city in general, the council, the mayor, and just the support they've given us over the last number of years as we develop out Sky Canyon, other projects in the community, and we look forward to this partnership and many more partnerships in the future to develop communities and really provide opportunities for people to really live where they want to live, and also be proud of where they live, and be comfortable in calling that place home, right? Yeah. And so the city's a great place, so we look forward to it.
It sounds exciting all the way around.
It'd be great if your local or recent college graduate ends up buying in the laundry.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it'd be a Ward 4 resident. Yeah. It's coming full circle here. And then, Marco, how about you? Anything else you want to add? That it was a great discussion about the water. Anything else from a sustainability standpoint or overall planning standpoint that you want to talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. We're glad to work with Councilwoman. We are working on this special area plan as well as Kyle Canyon, and soon the Charleston corridor. We're going to be kicking that off. Those are great opportunities for public outreach and for people to get their voice heard on what they want to see the future of their community. And we hope to have a plan draft for both of these areas coming up this year, and we look to the council for their support in adopting it to help facilitate communities like Chris is building.
Well, kudos to you, Councilwoman, for facilitating that type of feedback from the public and making sure that people had that opportunity. Because it's funny, when you ask the question, we get the answers. It's funny, you hear from people. Isn't that funny how that works?
It was a great process, and Marco, you think that the other developments will be similar, and will it be in a will it be in a city council meeting where you will present this so if the public is watching, they'll be able to see what the results of all this was?
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Wonderful.
Can't beat that.
So we'll see you in chambers.
Yeah, you say it, and we'll tell you this is what we heard over here. This is what came through. So, Chris Armstrong, thank you so much. Great job having you on the program. Good luck with the project. It's really exciting. It's going to be one of those things, I think, be one of those signature communities in Las Vegas. Marco, thank you for all the work that you're doing every day here at the city. Marco is a rock star here at the city. And Councilwoman, I'm having you stick around because we're going to talk about a little bit of pickleball. Right?
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, folks, we need to take a short break. But when we come back, hey, pickleball fans, you better listen. We have an event coming up in February that you don't want to miss. Details are right after this.
Drop that baby.
Welcome back, everyone. We're talking Ward 4 with Councilwoman Frances Allen-Palenske. And if you are a pickleball aficionado, listen up. Councilwoman, you have a big event coming up in February.
Absolutely, and there are many pickleballers out there.
Yes, there are. They're growing every day.
Yes, it's one of the most popular growing sports in America, and Councilwoman Bruni and I are jumping on the bandwagon.
So this is taking place February 17th, a big tournament, right?
In Ward 4, in the heart of Ward 4,
Wow.
that's the Durango Hills Y.
Okay.
They've got courts outdoor and indoor.
Oh.
So we're doing a multi-level tournament, and we'll have a senior component and regular adults at 3 different skill levels. And the seniors will play inside, everybody else outside.
I love
it's
indoor.
Gonna be fun.
Yeah, because in Las Vegas, being able to play inside is great.
We're fortunate.
Who knew? I have to look into that. And then I understand there's a little bit of a Valentine's Day component to this because it's going to be the 17th, just 3 days after Valentine's Day.
And we named it Love for All Pickleball. The name of the tournament is a shout out to Valentine's. And then we have a special Ward 4 versus Ward 6 pickleball exhibition.
So you and your good friend Councilwoman Bruni, and now you're bringing your spouses into this, correct?
Of course.
It's part of Valentine's Day.
It's part of Valentine's Day, so it's a his and her, Ward 6 versus Ward 4.
So the former firefighter hubby versus the judge hubby.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct, and the councilwoman versus councilwoman.
Yeah.
It's going to be something to see.
Now, I understand that your opponents in this maybe have a little more
I
experience.
heard they won Olympic gold in tennis.
Oh, no. Well, it's just an exhibition, everyone.
It's just for
Well, you're a
fun.
good sport to get out there. And, you know, I got a hunch you and your husband are really good athletes, too. So, in fact, I know you are. And so I figure your husband, former firefighter, he's probably got to be pretty athletic, too. So
He's got some skills, so I imagine it's going to be quite competitive.
So that's going to happen at 11 o'clock on the 17th, everyone, Ward 4. This is going to be at Durango Hills Y, right there at the corner of Durango, turns into Durango and Cheyenne, right there. The shopping center's across the street. And if people want to sign up, if they want to come see the exhibition, they can just come, right?
And we do have clinics there for new people who show up and want to learn
about the game?
Correct, but the registration is actually closed.
Okay, so, all right.
So we have I think it's 85 people locked in.
Wow.
And there was overwhelming participation and interest in signing up. So so far, it's been a complete success.
Well, yeah, home run or whatever the equivalent in pickleball is. And then I guess, Councilwoman, to your point, yeah, maybe we need to do more clinics on, obviously people are interested in playing this game. So it's just gone crazy. It's really taken off. So
it has. Well,
I'm excited and I can't wait to hear. Are we going to report on this show the outcome of this match?
Probably. Of course.
Well, okay. It's going to be fun. It's for fun.
It is for fun. But I will tell you, both husbands are quite competitive.
Yes,
so.
and I think the spouses are too. is my experience as well. So look out, Brunies. You're going to have your hands full. I have a hunch. So. Well, Councilwoman, that's a lot of fun. Again, everybody, that's going to be February 17th out at the Durango Hills Y, and the exhibition match is at 11 o'clock that day. So we're about out of time. Anything else you want to add before we have to hit the road here?
Just that it's been great to be here, and we're happy to have you, Mr. Rogoman. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, and vice versa, Councilwoman. I feel exactly the same way. Always a pleasure doing the show with you. So we'll have you back in 6 weeks.
Yes.
Do another update from Ward 4. And in the meantime, everybody, we always want to hear from you. So if there's something you'd like to share with Councilwoman Palenske, you can find her on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter. You can also contact her at 702-229-6405 or send her an email. Her address is fpalenske@lasvegasnevada.gov, and she or one of her great staff will get right back to you. So everyone, again, thanks so much for watching. Don't miss our next show beginning on January 25th with Ward 2 City Councilwoman Victoria Seaman. You can now catch all of our KCLV shows on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. Also, watch for our QR code after this show to subscribe to our newsletter. And don't forget, you can watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time around.